Wow. Welcome back to the Reconcile Room podcast. Let's go.
Yep.
Kicking off season 2 with a banger. I'm your host, Ezekiel.
Caleb.
And Kimmy.
And like I said, gosh, it's so good to be back. I'm so excited. As you guys can see, we got a new set and everything. We're feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
We're feeling like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. We're gonna talk to you guys kind of just about what our vision is and have a little bit of fun, but we'll keep this pretty brief so that we can get into the real content and get into kind of what we want to do this upcoming season. So
yeah. So the purpose of this episode is literally just to like Caleb was getting at, to cast a vision for what we want season 2 to look like. Maybe some of what we've learned through season 1, just the way that God's been working in our lives and through the podcast. And then just our hopes for what people will be able to get out of it this season. So hopefully we can just share again in our vision with you guys and get you guys excited for the content that we're going to be talking about, the way that we're going to be inviting the Holy Spirit into these conversations. And yeah.
Yeah, guys. So what is our vision? What is it? What are we doing for season 2?
I mean, there's one thing that's not changing between this season and the last season. And it's our desire to reach people who are not Christian. So we do understand that looking at our viewers and looking at people that interact with our content, it's mostly Christians up to this point, you know. Looking at like our Instagram, our social media posts, like it's mostly Christians, especially Christians that we know. So we appreciate y'all for supporting. It's been fun. Seriously.
For real. Thanks.
And we have a good time coming here and talking about faith-based topics and hearing from believers kind of what they think about what we're saying. It's really cool, but at the end of the day, what we're actually hoping to do is to reach an audience of both non-believers that we know and non-believers we don't know that are just out there roaming the internet, hoping to find answers to questions they have about faith. But really our audience, that's not changing, is people who are not Christian. So,
yeah. And with that being said, one of the things that is changing is kind of our shift. I mean, the first season we were talking a lot about that idea of hurdles. Like, hey, there's people, they feel like there's this hurdle or there's this wall in between them and having a relationship with God or them and knowing God. And I mean, I've had a conversation with Kimmy about this, but I kind of call that like it's a wall, but it's a wall of clouds. And so what we were trying to do for people is remove those hurdles and show people that the wall, the barrier that's preventing them from knowing God and having a relationship with God actually isn't a wall at all. That there's nothing that's preventing you from walking through. And so we were just trying to wrestle with people through the hard questions, through the hard topics, through the issues like, man, I can't be a Christian because of this. And why do Christians do this? I don't understand. So we were tackling that a lot. But with this next season, what we're really trying to go into is we're trying to make a case. We're trying to make a case for why you should be Christian, the things that you experience. I mean, we're going to be talking a lot about fruit of the Spirit and why we think like there's things that you can never experience in life or come to know in life without being a Christian, without being a Christ follower.
Yeah, and to add what Caleb was saying too, is like knowing that most of our audience, like we're targeting people who are non-believers, but having a lot of our friends who are believers. But I think each of us have had a personal story where we've known a non-believer or a believer send this to a family member who's a non-believer, like somehow through the grapevine. So it's cool to know that the Lord is still using this podcast to like use Christians to then be able to send this to non-believers. And that feedback has been Is it feedback?
Yeah,
feedback has been really cool. So
yeah, I'll be honest, I was gonna say that as well. Like
it's been insane.
This is targeted towards non-Christians, but again, one of the things that's really cool is we have friends, we have people that we know that are Christians that stumble upon our podcast. And the hope of it is like obviously you can kind of throw things out there, put things out there, the algorithm, whatever, like what's on people's pages, they're like cookies and everything like that. But it's like when we have people that we know that trust this podcast, even people that don't know us personally, but that have seen our podcast and be like, hey, this is actually good content. I want this to be an easy way, an easy segue for my non-Christian friend to learn more about Christianity, to kind of like take that first step, put that first step in the pool, that first foot in the pool. And that's been so amazing to hear how God has worked through that, because it's like, hey, we recognize that there's a lot of Christian podcasts out there, but we hope that the thing that separates us is the way that we interact with each other and the way that we're, again, focused on talking to non-Christians, because it's easy to see a podcast and be like, oh, wow, like these people are like super knowledgeable, super Christian, super theological. Like a lot of this is going over my head. Like, hey, I'm not even there whatsoever. Why should I even care about this stuff in the first place? So that's the heart that we're trying to get at. And man, again, there's been too many cool stories of just how people have shared that with people and how that's opened up people's hearts, softened people's hearts to the idea of coming to know Christ. So
Hmm.
Yeah, we don't want to. There's a lot of people who think that trying to make a case for Christianity is weird because like that's your thing, like that's what's giving you fulfillment and joy, but like you don't need to like try and convince me to be a Christian. I don't need that. Like my life is fine, and what we're trying to do is suggest that your life could be a lot better and suggest that many of you are running away from something that you haven't actually tried. Like you created a false version of Christianity through your experiences and through people giving you a false sense of what it means to be a Christian. So you created this false god, this picture of a false god that you're running away from. And you're not running away from the actual Christian God. You're not running away from Jesus. You're running away from something of your own making. So what
Hmm.
we're hoping to do in this season is to expose that a lot of you are running away from something of your own making, and that if you turn around and run back to Jesus and who He is, the Holy Spirit and His plan for your life, like you will experience freedom from things that are really holding you down right now. You'll experience eternal life, which is the biggest thing, and you'll experience unexplainable joy. And that's really what we want to get at, especially in this next series, talking about the fruit
mhm.
of the Spirit and how we believe that you can only experience them through Jesus. Like, it's going to provide a lot of you an opportunity to open your eyes to the fact that I really don't have this. I think I do, but I don't. And Jesus is a way that I can get to that. So, again, like, all I was trying to say is that we're not trying to, like, the fact of the matter is that we are not trying to demean you or condemn you by saying that we think that you need Jesus in order to be something, or trying to convince you that you need to be a Christian in order to experience certain things. We're not trying to condemn you. We're just trying to help you out. Like we really just want to help you out,
Hmm.
and that's God's heart for you. Like we believe that God is real and that He cares for y'all who are listening a lot more than we care for you,
Hmm.
and we're just trying to get close to emulating that.
Hmm.
Yeah. So here's the thing, really. I have been talking to Caleb, and I even kind of talked to you. Like I've been in like some online conversations recently, just but like been seeing ways that people react to stuff and whatnot. And one of the things that's clear that like we just want to address is that we know that like Christianity, people think that like it's quote unquote not for me or not for everybody or this or I just don't believe that. But the thing that we're trying to do is we're trying to clear the air. Like there's nothing that's lower stakes than just like going and looking for yourself, and we recognize that it can be hard to go to somebody and ask them or have conversations, be like, hey, for the first time, am I going to walk into a church? For the first time, hey, am I going to sit down and feel like I'm going to get lectured by this person? Or am I going to listen to these people talk online that don't know me, that aren't pressuring me into anything, that like don't feel this way or whatever? And I would encourage you guys, like, if you're interested at all, like, I hope, like, you know, one person around you, like, hey, that person talks to God, that person has a relationship with God. But the hope is that, like, guys, this is no pressure at all. You're just listening to three random people you probably don't know talk to you about Jesus and about these different things, and hopefully clear the air and clear the confusion. And if you disagree in what everything, it's okay. And we're open to dialogue, we're open to conversation. Like we always link our Instagrams in the bio. If you ever want to message us, like comments, we're totally open to. But the idea is that there's this weird concept of I can't ask questions about Christianity. I can't have doubts about Christianity. I can't have doubts about Jesus and be a Christian or to think this or to think that. And what's really interesting is I was listening to somebody earlier. Oh, it was actually Bear Grylls. Man, I love how Bear Grylls has been on like his Jesus grind lately.
Yeah.
I haven't like followed him like super closely. I watched his show like so funny when he brought celebrities on, but he was talking about one of his favorite stories. And he said, as a kid, they always tell you about their stories like Jesus heals the blind man and the Samaritan woman or like this and that. And he said, what I love the most is the small things. And he said, when you think about a prophet, you think about this man of God, this woman of God, whoever else, like that really cares. That's so clear. They've spoken to God. They know God. They know the God's calling on their life. It's just very clear. And he said, but one of my favorite things is John the Baptist. He said, Jesus said about John the Baptist that there is no greater man to ever live. And he sat there and he said he was thinking to himself, he's like, when John the Baptist was being threatened of death, when John the Baptist was about to be put to death and he got to see his disciples, the first thing that he wanted to do is he wanted to send them to Jesus to make sure, like, to ask Jesus, like, are you really the Messiah? Because he had some type of doubt. And so what Bear Grylls was saying is he was saying, hey, like, that means something to me, that Jesus sang about this man, the greatest man to ever live. There's been no greater man to ever live. had doubt, like what should that tell us about us? Like that God actually understands us, that he knows that we are weak-minded, he knows all of this stuff about us, he knows that we are sinful, but he's inviting us to come and to ask questions and to wrestle with him. I mean, you even think about Nicodemus, a Pharisee who was like very much into the law and understanding the word, but he went to Jesus. He's like, hey, but what does that mean? That doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. And Jesus wants to like wrestle with you. He wants you ultimately to come to surrender and to be like, hey, you know what? Like, I don't understand everything, but I trust you and I know that your way is better. And that's one of the things that we're trying to invite into here. We're trying to invite that doubt. We're trying to invite those questions. We're trying to invite that wrestling. And we want to be people who you think can wrestle with you and that care about you so much that we don't care about you just like slapping a label of Christianity or Christian or I go to church on you. We actually care about your livelihood. And we talk about this all the time, but Jesus says that he came to give life and life abundantly. And that's what we really strive for and desire for you guys.
Yeah, that's the root of our heart, and honestly, a big thing this season. I keep wanting to say semester. Like me and Zeke are obviously like we operate in semesters, like in our minds, so it's hard not to think like that. But for this new season, I think like one thing that'd be great from y'all that are listening, because I know there's people like hearing this, and you might be in the car, you might be watching us on YouTube, you might be doing whatever. Um, Engage with us more, like because we want to know what y'all are actually asking in your friend groups, in your mind. Like when you pray there's a blockage in your mind because you're struggling with something in your faith, like tell us about these things so that we can talk about that on this podcast. So
because also like 99% of the time you're not the only person who's feeling that.
Exactly.
Like the devil can really isolate you with those
And
thoughts.
99% of the time, one of us three has dealt with that kind of stuff. So it's really worth your time and effort to engage with us, to leave comments, to DM us, because we want to know what's helpful. So we don't want to just keep doing what we think is helpful. Like we can probably gauge what y'all want to hear about, but like only to an extent. And there might be there might be a niche thing that you're hoping that we talk about that we just don't dive into. And I really am praying and hoping that y'all engage with us more this season so that we can kind of know what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not a Christian. Like, if we say something and you don't agree with it, let us know so we can talk about that, or maybe explain it further in a different episode. Like, we might not even really like start like trying to explain it to you over DM or comments or anything. We might just say like, okay, we're gonna address this in a new episode. So I think like more engagement from y'all, like it'd be super helpful for you. Like this is really for you. We want to know what y'all need. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're no strangers to like. I mean, we won't take it as offense. We won't think you're attacking us or attacking our faith. I mean, I always say that like if you're a Christian, you should welcome people to ask you questions because the testing of my faith actually increases my faith because I'm like, you know what? That's a good question. I don't know that, but let's go and talk about that. Let's go and look into that. Let's go and whatever. And so Christians should be welcoming um uh constructive questions and dialogue and all this stuff. So don't be afraid like, oh, well, they're going to think I'm attacking them or whatever. Like we honestly don't care. We want to address it. Even if you come at us in a hateful way, like we want to like still address that. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I don't have anything to add to that.
all right.
Okay. So the question that I have for you guys is what is one I'll phrase it as what is one piece of fruit that you feel like you've seen last semester? And fruit meaning like, how would you describe that? If
Like the way you've seen God move in this podcast.
Yeah, that's a good way.
Yeah.
Oh wait, actually I do have something to add to what you guys were just saying.
Oh, go
It's
ahead.
like we know the Lord is moving through these podcasts because of the things we're about to share. So we know that if there's a non-believer or even Christian who are watching this and they have these questions, like we know you're having questions because like we know the Lord. We've seen the fruit of the Lord moving through it. So just send us the questions.
Yeah.
If you're thinking it anyways, you might as well just type it out. Anyways, well, did you ask your question? I forgot.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go first.
Yeah.
I think I have like two that really stick out to me. One was when we were first starting this, I was going into volleyball season for school, and it was so cool seeing a lot of the girls there read my Instagram bio and then stalk the Reconcile Room page. And then the next day they came back and they were like, we watched a few of your episodes. So that was really cool to me because I'm like, these are high school girls who, you know, I would just not expect that. I mean, that's not what I was doing in high school. So I think that was really cool to see. And then I have a friend whose boyfriend lives in Australia, and his friend watches the Reconcile room and he's a non-believer. So it's cool to see that the Lord is reaching places outside of the United States that it's like, I want this person. Like if you're watching this, like the Lord wants you, and that's why you've either stumbled across this, somebody sent it to you. So I think it's just so evident how the Lord is moving through this, which has been really cool and humbling. That's mine.
Yeah. I think the main one for me is that I think I do a lot of ministry on campus and with college students like me and just reaching out to other college students. But I think like it can be easy to disconnect, like especially because of how much I'm doing on campus. I can kind of get sucked into that and get disconnected from like my high school community and my high school friendships. Um, and I think just hearing about a lot of them, if not most of them, like tuning into the podcast and checking it out, it's been encouraging, like of various different faith backgrounds, like whether they're really strong believers or whether they're atheists. I mean, like I've seen the range of that tuning into the podcast to hear it. So it's just really cool to be able to reach that group of my life that's not they're not right in front of me all the time anymore.
Yeah.
But they're still able to know what my heart is about faith and what my heart is about their barriers, like the reasons why they're not deeper into faith. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, we have a heart for people for sure.
Do you have one, Zeke?
Yeah, for me it would be like I want to say surprising, but not really at the same time, because I mean, like coming into this, I think we were all like really on fire, like, yo, God actually could really use this, like whether it be reaching 5 people on campus, whether it be reaching 500 people across like America, like whatever else it might be. But there are people that are coming or have come to Christ through the podcast. And the coolest part about that for me is we're not sitting here and having debates or like pushing every single little area or talking with people for hours. Like, so that just affirms to me that it has to be the Spirit. Like people are hearing things that we're saying and it might plant questions in their mind. Like God might put questions in their mind, whatever, and they start wrestling with those. Or like, hey, you know what? Like Caleb's had some old friends be like, hey, Caleb, I saw this, whatever. I want to meet up. Can we talk about this? Like, there's been plenty of friends that we know. Like, I've had people come and say that even their parents have been listening to this, or that this has helped them with conversation with non-Christians. So to me, all that shows is that God is using us, because when you think about it, we're not getting like super, super personal with people, to their personal stories, having hour-long dialogues with people. Like, they're just listening to our podcast and sitting there and being like, huh, like, is this true? Or do I struggle with this? Or how do I overcome this? And God is just providing and making a way for them and calling them back to himself through this, which is so cool. So cool.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say is even just hearing like our Christian friends listening to it and taking something away from it. Like that's obviously not like our main target or goal is our Christian friends, but even in a way equipping people that we know of like, oh, I've never actually thought about this, and you guys talked about this and this inspired this thing, and now I know how to explain this to people who are non-believers. So even seeing the fruit in that, when that necessarily wasn't like this is our target goal, like literally seeing the Lord just work in that way too, which was so unexpected for me. He's just been moving, which is really cool.
That's awesome. Then I actually have one more question for you guys. What is one thing that you're looking forward to for this upcoming season?
I'm looking forward to some bold claims that we're about to make.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
I'm just looking forward to it. Listen, the Bible makes bold claims. So you just said something about what Jesus said about John the Baptist. The funny thing is, like, right after that, he was actually setting up to say, John the Baptist is the greatest man that's ever walked on this earth, but the least in the kingdom of heaven is still greater than him. That's a bold claim. So all these nice people you're seeing here, like we like, whether it's us, whether it's like your favorite priest, your favorite pastor, like whoever they are, like they don't hold a candle to people who are spending eternity with Jesus right now. So like that's like, and they're living in the fullness of joy and everything. So like the Bible makes bold claims. And I'm just excited to jump into that a little bit further. We made bold claims before, but I feel like now, like, we're getting at more like heart level stuff of like fruit,
really heart level,
like personality stuff, character stuff, where we're like, you need to be like this. Like we talked about practical things last time, like, you know, like sex, money. I mean, like, what else? I mean,
alcohol.
Dating, alcohol.
Hypocrites.
so we talked about a lot of practical external stuff, but we're gonna get internal for a second in this season, and I'm just excited to talk about some bold stuff with how you like, I don't know, what should be coming out of you and what I would expect to come out of you and come out of your heart if you're a Christian versus when you're non-Christian. Exciting stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I'm really excited to see the Lord move even beyond. Like, for me personally, I feel like last season I was like in a lot of doubt, not in the faith, but in what the Lord was going to do in this podcast. I was just like, oh, this is going to be so fun. This will be 3 of us. I think I made it more about me, Ezekiel, and Caleb versus like, look at what God is doing with the Reconcile room and this thing. And so I feel like this season, I'm so excited to see the Lord just like move within people, because I genuinely don't think I came in the first season being like, oh, God's gonna like save people through this. This is just gonna be something fun that we're gonna do. But then seeing all this fruit that we have, like if y'all have seen our group chat, if you were in it, you'd be like, whoa, like the Lord is really like, it's just so cool, and it's all God. It's not any of us. And so I feel like this season I'm just like, wow, the Lord really does want to use us, and He's making that so clear. And so I'm so excited for the bolder claims to have people like lock in more, but then also really getting at people's, what Caleb said, like the heart posture behind people. So
Yeah.
what about you, Zeke?
For me, I would say, honestly, it doesn't necessarily have to do with the podcast itself. I would say the community aspect. One thing that Kim and I we had a conversation the other day, and we were just talking about areas that we feel like we might have fallen a little short in, or didn't pour into as much in the last season, was just like the community base. And like we want to make it more of like a, hey, we want you to like tune into the podcast. We want it to be more than that. Caleb talked about earlier about engagement. We want you guys to be engaging, not so we can feel better about ourselves, but so we can actually help you more than what might sometimes appear as surface level, because you're only like hearing this through a third party like platform online, versus us actually having conversation with you or dialogue or addressing the specific things that you want. We want that. We also like want to be like more present on social media with like updates and keeping things. And so when we get busy, sometimes it just got really hard. And it's just like there were areas that for sure we fell short or we lacked in or whatever. So we're trying to be really intentional with just this next season with building community, building engagement, getting people to like really lock arms in what we're doing. Because I was telling Kimmy, I don't want this to be a thing where people watch an episode of the podcast and then it's like, oh my gosh, wait, this is actually kind of stirring something up in me. But now what? Like, do I just like now what? So we want to be there for that now what or then what, so that we can actually help you. We can push you through that. We can lead you through that. We can even like put you in a Bible-based community or church or college ministry or adult ministry, whatever it is, wherever you are around the globe. And so, yeah, that's the thing that I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good things to come.
No.
The last thing I'll say, like for us in this podcast, is that we are not experts on anything. We are not. We don't have any theology degree. We don't have any seminary degree. We don't have any formal training in anything.
Yep.
Like, so y'all can check what we're saying with scripture, with commentaries,
Please do.
with other pastors, with professors. Like, you can check what we're saying, and you should, like, because the reality is that there are things that I've said in previous episodes that I regret saying the way I did already, and it has not been that long. So imagine 10 years from now, I'm probably gonna look back on everything I've said and be like, what the heck? So it's, like, there are ways that we're gonna fall short in our ability to communicate topics, and that's not a great business model, coming out and just saying that before we get into any of it, because we don't obviously we don't want y'all to not be like, well, now I can't trust anything that they're saying. I know that you can. I know that you can trust, hopefully, most if not all of what we're saying, but you can check it. That's kind of what we hope. There is a benefit to being able to hear this from people who are not professional Christians. Like, because I kind of view pastors and like seminary professors and all that as like professional Christians, where like your profession and your career is literally like you're making money based on understanding the word and understanding God. Like, I'm not currently making money based on understanding that. So like, I just like, y'all just need to just know that ahead of time, so that maybe that can even like provoke y'all to dialogue with us more, because you know that like you might have caught something that we said that has a different perspective than we gave on the podcast.
Yeah. So I mean, just what I have to say is we look forward to hearing from you guys. I mean, in this upcoming season, the thing that I would encourage you guys to do is, whether you're Christian, whether you're non-Christian, to kind of set you up and to understand what we're going to be talking about and leaning into for this upcoming semester, I would suggest that you read precisely or like specifically Galatians chapter 5 verses 22 and 23. But you can read that whole chapter, that section as a whole, just so you can get an understanding of what we're going to kind of be getting at. And I want you with specifically Galatians 5, 22 and 23 to ask yourself, is this stuff that I want to see in my life? Is this stuff that I don't want to see in my life? Why do Christians have the nerve to think that they're the only ones that can experience true joy, true peace, true love? And we want you to come and bring that question, bring that like stuff, that thing that's egging or nagging at the back of your brain to this podcast and to wrestle with that with us, so we can get to the heart of joy, peace, love. And so if you're struggling with any of that stuff, whether it be anxiety, depression, the absence of any of that stuff, just ask yourself, why do Christians think that they can experience this? How is that possible? Do some looking into it on your own even, but come ready to the episodes of this podcast, ready to wrestle with yourself and with your heart, not with us, but with yourself and your relationship with God. And we hope that you guys will come to understand and to experience these fruits in your own lives. But
yeah, we should also say that we're making the episode shorter.
We're making the episode shorter.
We could say it.
Yeah, the hope is for the episodes to be shorter, more concise, like attack specific points.
It's the hope. We'll see.
Yeah.
About to record this first one, it'll be an hour and a half. We're like, oh
my gosh.
So
never
next
mind.
one.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
April Fool's. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
well, I mean, did you guys have anything else you want to say? Or this intro
that's
episode
good,
was
that's
meant to be
good.
just, shorter, just give you guys the knowledge of what we're trying to do going into this next semester, help you to like frame your hearts. I know sometimes it's easy to be like, oh, like, why should I care about that, especially as a non-Christian?
Yeah.
But give it a chance. I think everybody would say that they want joy and peace and love and patience and all this self-control, all this other stuff in their life. So give us a shot. Like, it doesn't hurt. We don't know you. We won't judge you. We won't tackle you. We won't attack you. We won't nag at you, but we really care for you deeply. And we are pleading with you to be reconciled to God. So welcome back to the Reconcile Room. We are so hyped. So hyped, man. We'll see you guys next week. Every Wednesday at noon, we'll be back on that. And yeah, see ya.
Bye.
Yeah.
See you.